The battlefield was silent at last. Smoke drifted in the cold air, carrying the bitter smell of burned metal and broken stone. The fight between the human soldiers and the alien forces had ended hours ago, but the ground still trembled with the memory of violence. Among the ruins lay a single human soldier. His armor was cracked, his helmet shattered, and his left arm swollen with a strange light that pulsed beneath his skin. The glow looked alive, as if something inside him was fighting to break free. His breathing was shallow, each rise of his chest a battle against pain. An alien medic entered the wreckage. She was young, her steps careful, her long fingers trembling as she held her healing kit close. Her people had never treated a human before. It was forbidden to touch them without council approval. Yet here he was, a human, broken and waiting to die. She knelt beside him, her silver eyes filled with both fear and pity. The soldier groaned softly, his lips dry, his voice weak. He tried to move but could not. His swollen arm pulsed brighter, casting an eerie glow on her face. The medic whispered to herself, her voice trembling. "It is swollen. Should I touch it?" Her people's teachings came rushing into her mind. Humans carried strange power. Some said their blood burned like fire. Others said their souls infected the weak. No alien healer had ever placed a hand on one. If she did, she could be punished, perhaps exiled. Yet the sight of him stirred something deeper than fear. She saw not a monster, but a man. His wounds told a story of courage. His eyes, even half closed, held a spark of stubborn life. She reached out but stopped halfway, her hand hovering over his arm. The glow beneath his skin seemed to answer her, pulsing faster, as if it recognized her nearness. She bit her lip, torn between fear and duty. The soldier's eyes flickered open. He looked at her, struggling to focus. A faint smile touched his lips. "Do what you must," he whispered. His words were rough, broken by pain, but clear enough to reach her heart. The medic's chest tightened. No human had ever spoken to her directly. No human had ever trusted her touch. Her heart raced as if the decision would change her life forever. Behind her, voices echoed in the ruins. Other aliens were searching, their warnings carried in the wind. "Do not touch him. Leave him. He is dangerous." She closed her eyes for a moment, shutting out their words. The air around her grew heavy with silence. Only the soldier's breathing reminded her that time was slipping away. If she did nothing, he would die. Slowly, she placed her hand on his swollen arm. The instant her skin touched his, heat surged into her body. It was not burning, but living. A wave of energy rushed through her veins, and for a heartbeat she felt as though his pulse had become her own. Her breath caught in her throat. The glow beneath his skin brightened, spreading through his arm like veins of light. The soldier groaned, his body trembling. The medic held firm, her hand steady though her heart pounded wildly. The world around them seemed to vanish. The ruins, the smoke, the distant voices, all faded into a deep silence. Only their bond remained, fragile yet undeniable. She felt his pain as if it were her own. She felt his fear, but also his will to survive. Tears stung her eyes. She had been told humans were violent and selfish. Yet what she felt now was not cruelty. It was endurance. It was hope. The soldier's lips moved again. This time his whisper was softer, almost like a secret. "Stay." Her chest tightened. How could he ask that of her? How could she turn away now? She brushed a strand of hair from her face, her silver eyes glowing in the reflection of his wound. She whispered back, her voice trembling but full of quiet strength. "I will." For a moment, the swelling seemed to calm. The glow dimmed, settling into a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat. Relief washed over her, but it did not last. The glow spread again, faster, brighter, traveling up his shoulder toward his chest. Panic struck her. If the energy reached his heart, it might kill him. She pressed her other hand against his body, trying to steady the flow, but the power only grew stronger. Her own pulse quickened until she thought her heart might burst. The soldier's eyes widened, staring into hers. Pain twisted his face, yet his gaze did not waver. He held on to her with a strength she did not understand, as if her presence alone kept him alive. The medic's hands shook. Her training had no answer for this. Her people's laws had no wisdom for this. She was alone, making choices no one else dared to make. The ground trembled beneath them, a reminder that the battlefield was not yet safe. The wind carried shouts from her people, closer now, filled with anger and fear. But none of it mattered. Not the laws. Not the warnings. Not the danger around them. All that mattered was the human before her, his swollen arm glowing like a star, and the bond forming between them with every heartbeat. The medic drew a deep breath, her resolve hardening. She whispered once more, though this time it was not a question. It was a vow. "It is swollen. I must touch it." And as her hands pressed against him, the glow burst into a wave of light that covered them both, binding their fates forever. The light faded slowly, leaving the ruins dim once more. The alien medic gasped for breath, her hands still pressed to the soldier's arm. His skin burned with energy, yet she could not let go. Something bound her to him now, something she did not understand. The human soldier opened his eyes wider than before. His breathing was steadier, though the glow in his swollen arm still pulsed dangerously. He looked at her with both pain and gratitude. "You saved me," he whispered. His voice was weak but filled with warmth. Her lips trembled. She was not sure if she had saved him or doomed them both. She wanted to answer, but footsteps thundered across the broken ground. Her people had arrived. Several alien healers stood at the edge of the rubble, their faces pale with fear. Behind them were warriors, armed and ready. Their leader raised his staff and pointed directly at her. "You touched him," the elder said sharply. His voice shook with anger. "You defied the law." The young medic lowered her head, her hands still clutching the human's arm. "He was dying. I could not leave him." "You risk our people for one human?" another healer shouted. "Do you not know what their kind carries within them?" The medic shook her head. "I felt it. His pain is real, but so is his will to live. He is not what you fear." The warrior stepped forward, but the human groaned loudly, drawing their attention. The swelling in his arm had spread further, glowing up to his shoulder. His body trembled violently. The alien medic's heart pounded. She felt his suffering as though it flowed into her veins. Her chest ached, her breath catching with every wave of pain. Then she felt something else. His memories. Visions struck her like lightning. She saw him standing beneath a blue sky, holding a small child in his arms. She saw fire raining from the heavens as he carried comrades through smoke. She saw his laughter, his anger, his hope. Tears filled her eyes. She was inside his soul. He was inside hers. The human looked at her again, whispering her name. She froze. She had never told him who she was. Yet he spoke it clearly, as though he had always known. The other aliens recoiled in horror. "He is binding to you," the elder said. "This is corruption." "No!" she cried out, clutching his hand. "This is life. He is sharing his truth." The glow surged brighter, blinding everyone in the chamber. The human cried out in pain, his body arching as the energy spread toward his chest. The medic screamed with him, her own body racked by the same torment. The warriors raised their weapons. "End it now!" one shouted. "If the swelling reaches his heart, it will destroy everything around us." The medic's eyes burned with determination. She pulled the soldier close, shielding him with her own body. "If you strike him, you strike me," she said. Her voice, though shaken, rang with courage. The warriors hesitated. They had never seen such defiance from one so young. The elder's voice grew harsher. "You cannot fight the bond. It will kill you both." The medic pressed her forehead against the human's, her tears falling onto his skin. "Then I will share his fate," she whispered. The soldier's lips curved into a faint smile, even through his agony. His eyes locked on hers, steady and strong. "Do not let go," he breathed. She tightened her grip. Never! At that moment, the swelling erupted again, sending cracks of light racing through his skin. The energy leapt into her body, filling her veins with fire. She cried out but did not break contact. The ruins shook as though the earth itself felt their bond. Stones crumbled, and the warriors stumbled back. Some covered their faces from the blinding glow. The elder's voice wavered for the first time. This should not be possible. The medic's voice rose above the chaos, trembling but unyielding. It is possible because he is human. And because I will not abandon him. The light finally calmed, settling into the shape of glowing veins that ran across the soldier's chest. He fell back, breathing heavily, his body weak but alive. The medic collapsed beside him, drained yet still holding his hand. Their bond pulsed faintly, like two hearts beating as one. Silence filled the ruins once more. The warriors did not step forward. The elders did not speak. None of them knew what to do. The young medic raised her head, her silver eyes fierce despite her exhaustion. You fear him because you do not understand. But I have touched him. I have felt his truth. He is not our enemy. The elder's staff shook in his hand. His voice faltered. You have broken every law. She stood slowly, helping the soldier lean against her shoulder. Then let the law be broken. I will not undo what has been done. The soldier coughed weakly, his voice soft but clear. You are braver than I am. Her lips curved into the smallest of smiles. No. I only followed my heart. Behind them, the glow from his body dimmed to a steady light, but it was far from gone. The swelling had not ended. It was only waiting. The medic knew this was only the beginning. And as the soldier closed his eyes again, whispering her name like a prayer, she realized that she would face any punishment, any danger, if it meant saving him. Because in that forbidden touch, she had found more than duty. She had found something worth defying the world for. The ruins were quiet again, but inside the silence grew something stronger than fear. The alien medic sat on the cracked stone floor, her hand still gripping the human soldier's swollen arm. His skin glowed faintly, the strange energy pulsing slower now, yet it had not stopped. She felt it in her chest. Each throb of his wound echoed inside her body, pulling her closer to his pain. It was no longer only his suffering. It was hers as well. The human groaned softly, his eyes half open. Sweat ran down his brow. His lips moved without sound, but she could hear him in her mind. His voice was there, clear as a whisper. Stay with me. Her breath caught. She looked around, but no one else had spoken. The other healers and warriors stood further back, whispering among themselves. Only she had heard him. The bond was real. His thoughts flowed into hers, carrying fragments of memory. She saw flashes of fire. A battlefield drenched in smoke. Men and women shouting orders. The sound of guns echoing through endless night. Then came softer visions. A small girl laughing. The warmth of sunlight on a grassy field. A promise whispered to someone unseen. The medic's silver eyes filled with tears. These were not the memories of a monster. They were the memories of a man who carried his world in his heart. She pressed her hand harder against his arm, closing her eyes. His pain slammed into her like a storm. She gasped, clutching her chest, yet she did not let go. The soldier stirred, his voice rasping out loud this time. If you let go, I will die. Her heart shook. She wanted to answer, but her voice caught in her throat. She swallowed hard, forcing words past her fear. Then I will not let go. The glow in his arm pulsed faster. It spread to his shoulder, his chest, glowing like veins of fire. His back arched as he cried out, his scream echoing through the ruins. The sound pierced her heart, yet she clung to him. Her people shouted behind her. Stop this! You will kill yourself! But she no longer heard them. His suffering was inside her now. Every wound, every scar, every ounce of pain flowed into her soul. She felt his broken ribs. She felt the crushing weight of battles he had fought. She felt the loneliness of a man who carried more than one life should bear. And still, beneath the pain, she felt something else. Hope. It burned quietly, steady and bright, refusing to die even as his body failed. It was that hope which reached her, pulling her closer, binding her to him in a way no law could sever. Her tears fell freely now. She whispered, though her voice was shaking. "Why do you keep fighting? Why do you hold on?" His eyes flickered open, locking on hers. His lips moved, and once again she heard him both in her ears and in her mind. "Because someone must?" The words struck her deeper than any wound. She bowed her head against his chest, listening to the faint beat of his heart. Their bond pulsed with every beat, drawing her further into his spirit. Suddenly the glow burst outward, flooding the chamber with blinding light. The other aliens shielded their faces. The medic and the soldier were lifted in the glow, their bodies trembling as one. The symbols appeared then, strange and ancient, glowing across his skin. They ran across his chest, his arms, his neck, like writing from an age long forgotten. The other healers gasped. "He carries the marks of the ancients." The medic stared at them in awe. She did not understand the symbols, yet she felt their meaning in her soul. They were not marks of death. They were marks of life. The human's hand rose weakly, gripping hers. His touch was gentle yet strong. She felt him speak again, though his lips barely moved. "Do not leave me!" Her tears spilled harder. "I will never leave you!" The elder's voice cut across the chamber. "This is forbidden. You will bind your soul to his and be lost. Let him go!" She shook her head, her voice breaking but filled with courage. "I would rather be lost with him than live without him." The glow surged again, shaking the ground. Cracks spread through the stone floor. The walls groaned as dust rained down. The warriors stumbled, their weapons clattering to the ground. The medic cried out, her voice joining his as the energy burned through them both. She felt his every wound, his every scar, but she did not let go. Instead, she embraced it. She carried it with him. The soldier's scream became a roar of defiance. His body shone like a star, the marks blazing brighter than fire. The medic clung to him, whispering through the storm. "You are not alone. Not anymore." Slowly, the light began to settle. His body still glowed, but not with the wild fire from before. It pulsed steady, calm, like a heartbeat shared between them. The medic collapsed forward, her forehead resting against his. She was trembling, her strength nearly gone, yet she smiled through her tears. The human breathed heavily, his eyes fluttering open. For the first time, his voice was clear. "You saved me." She closed her eyes, whispering back. "No. We saved each other." Behind them, the other aliens stared in silence. Fear and awe filled their eyes, but none dared to step closer. Because what they had witnessed was not corruption. It was something far greater. It was the bond of pain. And it had only just begun. The ruins were quiet again, but the silence was heavy. Dust floated in the air, catching the faint glow from the human soldier's body. His skin still shone with strange marks, glowing lines carved across his chest and arms. They looked like fire frozen into symbols. The alien medic knelt beside him, her hands trembling. Her heart pounded as she traced the glowing patterns with her eyes. She had seen sketches of such marks only in old scrolls. They belonged to an age before her people's memory, when healers spoke of life energy flowing through the stars. The other aliens stood back in fear. Their whispers filled the ruins. "Cursed. Tainted. He carries the mark of destruction." The medic shook her head firmly. She wiped her tears and spoke with quiet strength. "No. These are not curses. These are words of healing." Her people stared at her as if she had lost her mind. One elder stepped forward, leaning heavily on his staff. His voice was sharp, though shaken. "Child, you do not understand. Those marks are forbidden. They speak of power too great for mortals to touch." The medic turned her face toward the soldier. His eyes fluttered, still heavy with exhaustion, yet he managed to hold her gaze. His lips parted. "Chosen," he whispered faintly. Her breath caught. She leaned closer. "What do you mean?" His eyes softened. She felt the bond tug at her heart again. Images spilled into her mind, visions of battles fought long ago, alien healers placing hands on warriors with the same glowing marks. The power had once been a gift, not a curse. A way to bind lives together so that none would fall alone. She gasped. The truth unfolded within her. He was not carrying death. He was carrying memory. She turned to the elders, her voice stronger now. You are wrong. These symbols are not the end. They are the beginning. The elder's face twisted with anger. You speak like a fool. You risk all our lives for a human who does not belong here. The soldier coughed weakly, but his voice broke through the silence. I belong where I am needed. The words struck the medic like a blade of light. She pressed his hand against her chest, feeling their bond steady once more. And you are needed here. The other warriors lifted their weapons. Fear had hardened their faces. He cannot be allowed to live, one shouted. He will bring ruin to us all. The medic rose to her feet, placing herself between the human and the warriors. Her silver eyes glowed faintly in the reflection of his light. Her voice rang out with defiance. If you strike him, you strike me. And if you call him cursed, then I share that curse. The chamber grew tense. The warriors froze, torn between loyalty to law and fear of what they had witnessed. The elder's staff shook as he slammed it against the ground. You dare speak against your own people for the sake of this human? Yes, she answered without hesitation. Because he is not only human now. He is part of me. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Even the soldier's weary eyes widened at her words. The glow across his skin pulsed again, brighter, stronger. The marks shifted like flowing rivers, moving into new shapes. The medic stared in awe. They were no longer random lines. They formed words. Ancient words in a language half forgotten. Her lips moved as she read them slowly. Where two hearts beat as one, life will rise again. The ruins trembled as the words glowed brighter. The ground beneath them cracked, and a deep hum filled the chamber. The other aliens stumbled back, some falling to their knees in terror. The medic held her ground, standing firm. She turned to the elders, her voice clear. Do you see? This is not destruction. This is renewal. The elders' eyes burned with fear. You are blinded by his touch. He has bound you. You no longer see truth. She shook her head. No. For the first time, I do see truth. He is not cursed. He is chosen. And if you fear that, then it is your fear that blinds you. The soldier's hand squeezed hers weakly, yet with undeniable strength. His voice, though faint, carried across the chamber. I will fight for her. I will fight for both our worlds. The medic's heart surged with warmth. She bent down, pressing her forehead gently against his. Her whisper was filled with tears. And I will fight for you. The glow dimmed slightly, settling into a steady rhythm once again. The ruins grew still, though the marks on his body did not fade. They remained like fire etched into his skin, symbols of a destiny either of them yet understood. The other aliens kept their distance, their fear unbroken. But the medic no longer feared them. She had touched his pain, seen his memories, and read the words carved into his very soul. She knew the truth now. The swelling in his body was not only a wound. It was a key. And though the elders tried to hide it, she realized something else in their eyes. They had known of this legend all along. The ruins grew darker as night spread across the battlefield. The air was cold, filled with the smell of dust and fire. The human soldier lay against broken stone, his chest glowing faintly with the strange marks. Each symbol burned brighter every few moments, as if warning that his time was running short. The alien medic sat beside him, clutching her healing kit. Her hands trembled, but her eyes were steady. She had made her choice. She would save him, even if it meant breaking every law of her people. The elder stood at a distance, his staff glowing faintly. You cannot change what he is. The swelling will consume him. Leave him, before it consumes you as well. The medic raised her head. Her voice was soft, yet filled with iron. I will not abandon him. I have felt his truth. He is not cursed. He is chosen. The elder turned away, unwilling to hear more. The warriors lowered their weapons, uncertain, waiting for his command. The medic opened her kit. Inside were glass vials filled with glowing liquid, the essence of her people's medicine. She pulled a small blade from the kit, its edge sharp and silver. The soldier stirred weakly. His voice was hoarse. What are you doing? Her heart ached at his broken tone, but she forced herself to speak with calm. I am beginning a trial. A forbidden one. It may heal you, or it may destroy us both. His lips curved faintly, even in his pain. You are willing to risk that? She touched his hand gently, her silver eyes shining. For you, yes. The bond pulsed between them, stronger than ever. His warmth flowed into her, and her strength flowed into him. It felt like their hearts were tied together with invisible thread. She lifted the blade and cut her palm. Blood welled quickly, dark against her pale skin. The soldier tried to stop her, but she shook her head. Do not fear. This is my choice. She pressed her bleeding hand against the glowing marks on his chest. At once, his body shuddered. The symbols blazed brighter, drinking in her blood as though it were fire to fuel them. Her vision blurred. The pain struck her like lightning, but she did not pull away. She felt his wounds tearing through her body, every broken bone, every scar, every cry of agony that had ever passed his lips. Her breath caught, but she held firm. Stay awake, she whispered to him. Stay with me. His eyes snapped open, golden light reflecting inside them. He gritted his teeth, forcing his voice through the storm of pain. I will not let go. The glow around them grew into a storm of light. The air cracked with power. Stones rose from the ground, suspended in the glow. The warriors cried out in fear, some falling to their knees. The elder shouted, Stop this madness! You will kill us all! The medic ignored him. Her focus was on the soldier. She poured her essence into him, her blood mixing with the marks until they pulsed with both of their lives. His voice echoed in her mind. I see your world. Her breath caught. Through the bond she saw what he saw, fields of silver grass, mountains glowing under 3 moons, rivers that sang with light. Her home, her people's land. She gasped as another vision followed. He saw her as she had once been, standing as a child with healing herbs in her hands, smiling with innocence. He felt her fears, her doubts, her longing to do more than follow rules written by the old. Tears ran down her cheeks. And I see your world, she whispered. She saw earth, endless skies painted in blue, oceans vast and wild, children running in streets of stone, mothers calling their names with laughter. She saw him holding a photograph, his fingers trembling as if the picture were the last piece of something lost. Her heart swelled. Their bond was no longer only pain. It was life itself. The swelling in his chest cracked open with light, glowing veins spreading across his body. He cried out, but his hand clutched hers stronger than ever. The medic leaned closer, her voice breaking. Breathe. Do not give up. His voice roared inside her mind, fierce and unyielding. I cannot give up. Not with you beside me. The storm of light burst outward, shaking the ruins. For a moment the night sky itself seemed to blaze, stars shining brighter, as if watching. The warriors shielded their eyes. The elder stumbled back, unable to look. And then, with a final cry, the soldier sat up. His body glowed with steady light. The marks blazed across his chest and arms, no longer wild, but calm, like rivers of fire flowing in harmony. The medic fell against him, drained, her strength nearly gone. He caught her in his arms, holding her gently. His voice was stronger now, filled with gratitude. You saved me. She shook her head weakly. No. We saved each other. The bond pulsed within them both, not with pain, but with life. 2 hearts beating as one. The elder stared in horror. This cannot be. No human should survive such power. The medic rose unsteadily, leaning against the soldier. Her silver eyes glowed with fierce resolve. Then perhaps it is time you admit the truth. He is not only human. He is more. The warriors murmured in fear, unsure whether to kneel or flee. The soldier placed his hand gently over hers, his gaze steady. Together, we can prove it. The medic smiled faintly through her exhaustion. Yes. Together. The healing trial was not only complete. It had changed them forever. The battlefield was quiet, but the quiet was not peace. The ruins trembled faintly, as though the world itself felt the storm that had just passed. The human soldier sat upright now, his chest glowing softly with the marks of light. Beside him, the alien medic leaned against his shoulder, her body weak but her spirit unbroken. Their bond was alive. It pulsed inside both of them, steady and strong. Each beat carried not only life but a strange unity. Their breaths rose and fell together. Their eyes, though tired, shone with the same fire. The other aliens stood back in silence. The warriors no longer raised their weapons. The healers whispered in fear. The elder's face was pale, his staff trembling in his hands. "This is blasphemy," the elder said. His voice wavered, yet he tried to sound firm. "You have joined your soul to a human. You are no longer one of us." The medic straightened, her silver eyes burning with quiet defiance. "If that is true, then so be it. I choose him." Gasps spread through the crowd. No one had ever spoken such words. No one had ever chosen a human over their own kind. The soldier lifted his head, his voice low but steady. "She saved me when no one else would. If that is blasphemy, then I will share it with her." The elder raised his staff, but his hand shook too much to strike. The ground beneath him rumbled, a deep vibration that grew stronger with every passing moment. Dust fell from the broken walls. The medic tightened her hold on the soldier's hand. "Do you feel it?" she whispered. He nodded. His golden brown eyes locked on hers. "It feels like the world is breathing with us." The tremors grew into violent shakes. Cracks split the floor. From the soldier's chest, the glowing marks pulsed like a living star. The energy spread outward, crawling into the ground, sending lines of light through the stone. The other aliens panicked. Warriors stumbled back. Healers fled toward the shadows. The elder shouted commands, but no one listened. The soldier groaned, clutching his chest. His body burned with power. "I cannot hold it." The medic placed her hands over his, pressing firmly against the marks. Her voice was steady, even as fear tore at her heart. "You are not holding it alone. We are together." The bond flared, burning brighter than before. She felt his heart racing inside her chest. His pain coursed through her veins, sharp and unrelenting. For a moment she thought she would collapse. But then his strength flowed back into her, lifting her again. Their voices echoed together, not only in sound but in thought. His words rang in her mind. "If I fall, you fall." And hers echoed back to him. "If you rise, I rise." The light expanded, surrounding them both in a sphere of fire and brilliance. The ruins shook harder. The ground split wide, glowing like molten stone. The elder fell to his knees, his face filled with terror. "This is death. You are calling death." The medic's voice cut through the storm, fierce and unyielding. "No. This is life." The soldier roared as the energy reached its peak. His body trembled, his breath ragged. His hand clutched hers so tightly it hurt, but she did not let go. Her tears streamed down her face, shining in the glow. Then the world seemed to stop. The light vanished in a single heartbeat, collapsing into the soldier's chest. The marks dimmed, settling into a steady glow like embers beneath his skin. The shaking ceased. The ruins grew still. The soldier collapsed forward, his head falling against her shoulder. His body was heavy, his breath faint. "No," she whispered, her arms wrapping around him. "Stay with me. Do not leave me." His chest rose weakly, but his eyes did not open. His lips parted just enough to whisper one word. "Together." Her tears fell onto his face. She pressed her forehead against his, her voice trembling. "Yes. Together." even if between life and death. For a long moment there was silence. She feared he was gone. Her heart clenched with despair. But then she felt it, the bond, faint but unbroken. A small spark of warmth inside her chest. His heartbeat, steady and stubborn, refusing to die. Relief washed over her. She held him tighter, whispering through her tears. "You are still here. You are mine to keep alive." The elder rose slowly, his voice bitter. "You may have kept him breathing, but at what cost? You have cursed us all with your choice." The medic turned her head toward him, her silver eyes blazing. "No. You will see. This is not a curse. This is the beginning of something greater." The soldier stirred faintly, his hand squeezing hers with what little strength remained. His voice was soft, but filled with certainty. "We will prove it." Her lips curved into a small, weary smile. She kissed his hand gently and whispered back, "Yes. We will." The ruins stood silent once more, but deep within the earth, the glow of their bond still pulsed, steady and eternal. They were no longer just a medic and a soldier. They were something new, something that defied law and fear. They were two hearts walking between life and death. And the world itself had begun to change with them. The battlefield lay in silence. The ruins glowed faintly with the last traces of the bond's power. The human soldier sat weak but alive, his chest marked with the ancient symbols that still pulsed like a quiet flame. Beside him, the alien medic remained close, her hand never leaving his. They were alive, but the air was heavy with judgment. The elder stepped forward, leaning on his staff. His face was pale, his voice sharp. "You have broken our laws. You have tied your soul to this human. You are no longer one of us." The medic stood, her body trembling but her voice steady. "If saving life is breaking the law, then I accept it. If standing with him makes me an outcast, then I accept that too." The elder's eyes narrowed. "Then you must choose. Abandon him now, and return to your people. Or remain with him, and be cast out forever." The silence that followed was heavy. The warriors watched, their weapons lowered but ready. The healers whispered in fear. All waited for her answer. The soldier weakly turned his head toward her. His voice was soft, almost breaking. "Do not throw away your life for me." Her heart tightened. She saw the pain in his eyes. He was willing to suffer alone if it spared her. But she could not accept that. She knelt beside him and held his hand firmly. "I already gave my life to you when I touched your wound. I will not take it back now." The elder struck the ground with his staff. "Then you are lost to us." The medic straightened, her silver eyes glowing with quiet fire. "No. I am not lost. I have found something greater than fear. I have found someone worth fighting for." Gasps spread through the crowd. The words cut deeper than any blade. The soldier squeezed her hand. His eyes were filled with gratitude, but also with worry. "They will not forgive you." She smiled softly, tears shining in her eyes. "I do not need their forgiveness. I only need your trust." The bond pulsed stronger, as if sealing her words with light. Their hearts beat together, steady and united. The elder's voice rose once more, trembling with anger and fear. "Then go. Take your human and leave this place. You no longer belong here." The medic did not argue. She bent down and helped the soldier to his feet. His body was weak, but together they stood tall. The warriors stepped back as the glow from his marks spread faintly across the ground, warning them not to interfere. The medic and the soldier walked slowly toward the edge of the ruins. Every step was heavy, but every step was chosen. Behind them, the whispers of their people grew louder, filled with fear, confusion, and awe. At the edge of the broken field, the medic stopped. She looked back once, her voice steady. "Remember this moment. You call it blasphemy, but one day you will see it as truth. A human and an alien stood together, and the world did not end. It began again." With that, she turned away. The soldier leaned on her shoulder, his steps unsteady, but his eyes brighter than before. They walked into the night, leaving the ruins behind. The silence that followed was deep. None dared to stop them. None dared to strike. As they walked further into the shadows, the soldier spoke softly, his voice filled with wonder. You gave up everything for me. She looked at him with gentle eyes. No. I gained everything when I chose you. His chest tightened at her words. He had seen death, war, and endless loss. But in her, he saw something he thought he would never feel again: hope. They paused beneath the broken sky, where stars shone through the smoke. The glow from his marks reflected against her silver eyes. She touched his scarred chest, her voice soft yet steady. It is swollen still. Should I touch it again? For the first time since the battle, he laughed, weak but real. Yes. Touch it. Touch it forever. Her heart lifted with his words. She leaned her forehead against his, their bond glowing brighter with quiet warmth. The night wrapped around them, but inside their bond there was light. They had been strangers. They had been enemies by law. Yet in pain, they had found each other. In despair, they had chosen love. The world would call them outcasts. But history would call them something else. A legend. Because one human and one alien had defied two worlds with nothing more than a single touch.